Stop what you're doing right now. Last night at 6:47 p.m. Eastern, the United States Treasury released a 247-page bombshell that's shaking Wall Street to its core. 3 major banking executives have already hired criminal defense lawyers. Emergency sessions are happening at the Federal Reserve as we speak. What this document reveals is so massive, I had to read the numbers 3 times to believe them. The ComX vaults are 94% empty. The vaults backing every silver futures contract globally. The vaults determining the price you see when you check silver markets, 94% empty. For every 100 ounces they claimed existed, only 6 ounces are actually there. The other 94? Gone. Never existed. Complete fiction. This morning at 9 a.m., the Department of Justice announced a criminal investigation using RICO statutes. That's the law used to dismantle organized crime. The government is officially treating this as coordinated criminal activity. Smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe because this story is just beginning. Today is Friday, January 23rd, 2026. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how this manipulation occurred and why the coming weeks will be unlike anything witnessed in modern markets. Stay until the end because the final information changes everything. 17 days ago, a bipartisan group of senators forced an actual independent audit, not the typical self-reported audits where institutions grade their own homework. This time, independent auditors with zero connection to bullion banks, zero financial interest in outcomes, physically walked into vaults and counted every single bar. Bullion banks fought this viciously, but pressure was too intense. Too many delivery failures had made headlines. The audit proceeded. 43 independent auditors from 3 accounting firms examined 7 vault facilities across New York and Delaware over 16 days. What they discovered will be studied as the greatest fraud in commodity market history. On January 5th, 2026, ComX publicly reported registered silver inventory of 298.4 million ounces. This number appeared on their website. Every trader globally used it for decisions. This number determined whether silver traded at $25, $50, or $100 per ounce. It was completely false. When auditors physically counted bars, they found 17.9 million ounces. The difference represents 280.5 million ounces of silver that simply doesn't exist. At current prices, that's nearly $22 billion of missing metal. But it gets worse. Auditors documented empty shelving units still tagged as containing silver. In one Delaware facility, records showed 34 million ounces, over $2 billion worth. What did they find? Dust, empty pallets, abandoned forklifts, nothing else. Here's how they pulled this off, and you need to understand this scheme. ComX operates using warehouse receipts. You deposit silver into a registered vault, get paper proving it exists. These receipts back futures contracts. Buy a futures contract, you're buying rights to that silver. Demand delivery, exchange your contract for metal. Simple and honest, in theory. Here's reality. For decades, almost nobody demanded physical delivery. Hedge funds don't want 5,000 ounces delivered to their office. Easier to trade paper, collect cash profits, never touch metal. Delivery rates were 1 to 2%. Bullion banks saw an opportunity. If nobody requests silver, why keep it sitting there? They started removing inventory, 5%, then 10, then 20. Years passed without consequences. They got bolder, 30, 40, 50% gone, each year pushing further. Now we know how far they went. 94% removed while maintaining records showing it was still there. The Treasury report reveals vault operators maintain 2 completely separate inventory systems. One public reported to ComX showing 298.4 million ounces. One private, internal, secret, tracking actual inventory, 17.9 million ounces. 2 sets of books. The public lie and private truth. Management knew about this discrepancy for at least 7 years. 7 years of publishing fraudulent information. 7 years of defrauding every trader relying on those reports. Vault operators weren't alone. 8 major banks were involved. Here's the criminal part. These same banks acting as custodians, supposedly safeguarding silver, simultaneously held massive short positions betting prices would decline. They controlled the inventory data markets used to determine supply. Want prices to fall? Show abundant supply. Lie about vault inventory. Show 298 million when only 17 million exists. Market sees big numbers. Assumes plentiful supply. Prices stay suppressed. Short positions profit. The Treasury report states at least 4 banks actively removed silver while maintaining appearance of stable inventory. Draining vaults secretly, shipping metal to London, Shanghai, private buyers. Public numbers showed everything normal. If this breakdown is helping you understand what's happening, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Regulators should have stopped this. The CFTC's entire purpose is preventing exactly this fraud. They could have inspected vaults any time. They didn't. Page 156 contains internal CFTC communications from 2023, 3 years ago, discussing concerns about ComX inventory reporting reliability. They suspected something. What happened? Nothing. No investigation. The corruption continued 3 more years. This morning's Department of Justice announcement was historic. Criminal investigation. The prosecutor listed charges: commodities fraud, wire fraud, securities fraud. Then he said RICO, the law designed to destroy organized crime syndicates. Everyone who participated, knew, or looked away can be held liable. 14 vault executives subpoenaed, 3 trading accounts frozen, document preservation orders sent to every major bullion bank. This is moving faster than any financial enforcement I've witnessed. The prosecutor ended with, "No one is too big to prosecute." After 2008, we heard tough talk before bailouts and bonuses. This time is different. That fraud was complex. This is simple. A vault supposed to contain silver. The vault is empty. A child could understand this crime. That simplicity makes escaping justice extremely difficult. Markets are in chaos. When audit results released last night, Asia panicked. Shanghai silver futures opened 34% higher than 50%. Trading halted. When resumed, prices kept climbing. By midnight Eastern, silver had doubled. The official ComX price attempt settling at $156 per ounce. But that's meaningless. ComX pricing assumed full vaults, abundant supply, available delivery. Now everyone knows vaults are empty, supply numbers were fake, delivery is impossible. Physical markets are responding with their own pricing. Most dealers stopped selling entirely, pulled inventory offline. The few selling quote 80 to 150% premiums over spot. Even at those prices, silver sells out within minutes. One dealer told me there is no spot price anymore, only what sellers accept and buyers pay. Everything else is fiction. If ComX was 94% empty, what else is empty? What other numbers are fiction? Friday, January 23rd, 2026. Remember this date, the day the greatest commodity fraud in history was confirmed. The day the silver market changed forever. Reality always wins. You can lie for years, build systems on fraud, but eventually reality catches up. This was the biggest lie in commodity market history. The correction will be historic. Now you know. Everyone knows. Nothing will ever be the same.